families of those who died fighting the Iraq War will be among the first to see the Chilcot report in 20 minutes' time. Well, Sarah O'Connor lost her brother in 2005 and is at the QE2 Centre in central London. Welcome to you. Thank you very much for joining us. What do you hope will come out today?
Well, I'd like the world to be made aware about the realities that are faced by families, not only of those that paid the ultimate sacrifice, but those who, you know, were left behind, like our veterans. I mean, imagine a young guy called Josh who just joined up as a boy and then saw the most worst atrocities and came back forever changed. And Blair needs to stop being the polished performer. He actually needs to be held responsible and accountable. And a man who is so sure of his decision, what he actually needs to do is come and actually see us and look us in the eye. And that's the one thing that he won't do.
I mean, he's repeatedly apologised, Tony Blair, accepted that mistakes were made and so on. Does any of that help you? Does any of that matter?
That was not an apology. No, that wasn't an apology. We've gone through this before. That's nothing more than a PR, damage limitation exercise, a polished performance that has to be, signed off by a lawyer. He had his opportunity at the end of his first sitting when he gave evidence, and he was asked, was there anything? And no. And then at the beginning of his second sitting, so that wasn't an apology. Okay, so absolutely not.
Let me ask you, what would you like Tony Blair to say to you that would make any difference now?
I would like that man to come in and to actually look into our eyes and realise that we are not just collateral damage to an agenda that he had already set. He was buoyed by Kosovo. He thought he could repeat it. He colluded with world leaders. Imagine the information that he was given. It was almost like sand, and he just made it fit into whatever mould he needed it to, in order to do, what Saddam was flouting UN laws. What on earth do you think Tony Blair was doing? That man needs to come in, and he needs to talk to us and actually talk to us, look us in the eye.
Sarah, when your brother went to war, did he believe that it was justified and that he was doing the right thing to rid the world of weapons of mass destruction?
One of the great things about our great British Armed Forces is that we are one of the best armed forces in the world, and at no point is it in their remit. They sign an oath of allegiance, and they stand by that even after that they have left, no matter how they have been thrown onto the scrap heap after they've given their all. Bob went and he did his job, and he did his job to the best of his abilities, despite the fact that they went in, rushed in on one man's say-so, ill-prepared and ill-equipped, without the most basic and adequate of equipment. And the aftermath is the reality is that we're ending up with firms, a sporting events company like Fight for Lives, who are now helping veterans charities like Talking to Minds to raise money to help, in the aftermath. We shouldn't have to be doing that. We shouldn't have to be doing that. But, the family is the backbone of any member of the armed forces, no matter what force you belong to. And it was for us, to just love him when he came home, not to discuss politics. And he just, he went there, and on that day that he was killed, along with those 9 other brave souls, one of the most endearing images was that it was Iraq's first election day, and I remember this aged Iraqi woman smiling down a camera, holding up her finger with purple ink, okay? And that meant that was her signature. A woman in Iraq got to vote. So I always believe that, that's a lasting legacy that needs to be remembered.
Right, Sarah O'Connor, thank you so much for joining us. And I know it's just a quarter of an hour now until you're allowed, along with other families, in to just have a look at the précis of that report. It's obviously hugely important personally to you, and I hope you can find some answers within it. We all get to have a look at it a little bit later on. But thanks so much.